Today we'll be upgrading our Amazon Special 2.2 buggy build with these carbon beadlocks that I've got of Amazon. These are also available on AliExpress for about half the price. So if you get them off Amazon, it's about $60 for 2 pairs. AliExpress is closer to $35. So if you have access to AliExpress and you have experience, go for that instead. Anyways, let's jump right into it and open these up. So within the bag, you get basically 3 pieces of the actual beadlock, and then you have a bunch of hardware. So how these go together is actually, there's the front and the back, which is made of carbon, and then the middle piece. This might look like plastic, but it's actually really nice plastic. This is, in fact, machined Delrin. You can see sort of the machine marks there. And how this comes together is you have these the hardware package includes obviously a bunch of screws, but also these aluminium struts that you basically screw into the beadlock. We'll go over that a little. We'll go over that later. But in the packet you also get a hub. This is actually SLW compatible, so this is really good. You have a wide variety of offsets that you can choose from. In terms of quality, it's actually not too bad. You do see a bit of these aluminium shavings here, but you know, for the most part, the parts here, these aluminium struts, they're threaded well. The edges are chamfered, and the anodization is also relatively good. How the front face of the beadlock goes together is that you have the carbon face plate, and the struts basically just screw through the pre-drilled holes on the face plate like this. And just rinse and repeat 5 more times. And then we tighten them down. And here on the machined Delrin part, you can see that these notches here interface with the aluminium struts, and it just goes in like this. And there we have it. Finally, we have our hub to install. So these beadlocks are actually really nice because they basically have as negative of an offset as you like. So if you get a very short hub, you can basically have a really narrow dish wheel, and vice versa. You can get a very long hub to get a really wide offset wheel, or even actually mount the hub on the outside here because it's basically the same on each side, and get a super deep dish wheel. So this basically offers a lot of tuning option, different tire types or axle clearances, and these, you know, they're great. I love the modularity of it so far. It seems to be really well made. So again, let's put on the hub. This hub specifically is 0 offset, so the hex head, the face of the hex actually ends basically at the center of the wheel. These are the stock ones, again, SLW compatible, so you can swap them out to how you like it. And again, the hub uses the shorter M3 black oxide screws here. So again, let's just put them together. So here we have the hub installed. It fits really nicely. So first of all, I'd like to compare the beadlocks I'm running currently, which are the G-Made. There's 2.2 stock plastic beadlocks. They're really inexpensive, to the new carbon beadlocks that I've got for Amazon. So first things first, you notice is obviously the offset of the tires are vastly different. The G-Made one actually has a relatively wide offset as compared to the carbon one, which has a 0mm offset. Secondly, is the width of the actual beadlock itself. And the G-Made one is significantly wider. If I put it one to where the bead would meet to the other side, we have about over a 10mm width difference. And these actually affect the look and the performance drastically. So what I mean by is on mounted tires, as you can see here, the one on the G-Made one, the plastic one with a wider beadlock ring, you can clearly see that the tire is actually flatter here as opposed to the rounder carcass of the carbon beadlocks. And this is because the foams and the tires basically get squished if this is narrower, and basically squishes the tire and foam outwards. This might have some advantages because, especially with wide tires like this, and if you have perhaps softer foams, a lot of the time what happens is the center of the tire here does not get enough support. And basically, when you contact a surface or you push against it, just the weight of the vehicle itself, what happens is the middle gets pushed in, and essentially, since it does not have enough support, you're only riding on sort of the outsides of the treads here, where it's supported by the sidewalls. So by going with a narrower beadlock internal ring, what this essentially does is basically squishes the foam outwards by sort of pinching the bead on the inside more together, and this gives you slightly better support. So in terms of performance gains, I'm not entirely sure how much difference that will make, but from a just holding in a hand standpoint, these are noticeably lighter. I wouldn't say significantly, but these are definitely noticeably lighter than the G-made ones, which is a good thing, you know, cut down on that rotational mass, just less strain of drivetrain, and also makes the vehicle more controllable in general. So let's go ahead and mount these onto some tires. So here we have everything ready, the tire obviously dismounted and the beadlocks constructed, and it's pretty standard. It's basically like any other beadlocks, and you kind of just put the internal ring in first, obviously. And then the next step is, if you look at the the grooves that hold onto the aluminium struts to the beadlock ring, it's actually offset towards one side. So there are no official instructions I can find online, but my instinct tells me to put this on the faceplate, mainly because you need more support there anyways, because that's where the hub is connected to. So yeah, mount the faceplate along with the struts on the shorter side, basically the closer side of the offset. And again, obviously make sure that there are no foams trapped. It's between the ring and the bead, and we're good to go. Now we're going to move on to the back of the bead. Again, it's pretty much like any regular bead lock. So yeah, let's put in the screws, make sure it's all aligned, and that the ring is set in the inside of the bead, and then screw everything together. And again, like screwing in any other bead lock, make sure you don't tighten down one single screw on one side all the way. You know, just go ahead and go around the whole rim itself and do up each other bit by bit so it sort of clamps down evenly, and make sure that nothing sort of gets caught or anything. And so there we have it, a bead lock mounted. I have no problems so far. It seems to clamp the bead down well, as you can see. And also it's pretty cool. You can kind of see your bead on the inside there. Since this is not a sort of closed ring on the inside, you can still see the inside of your bead there. So that's kind of interesting. Not something I've seen before. But yeah, all in all, the fit and finish feels pretty good. So yeah, let's finish the other one and actually throw it onto the vehicle and see what it looks like. Here is the beadlocks all installed. They actually look really nice, and also you can see there's a ton of clearance in there, so you can probably bulk up the amount of brass weights you can get in there as well, so which is nice. In terms of clearance, we have a ton of clearance here, no interference whatsoever. And in terms of track width, currently it's actually a little narrower than the original G-made beadlocks, but obviously interchangeable SLW hubs. Again, you can change that up if you want. At the back, again, plenty of room. No problem with fitment at all, and they also look really nice. I like how it's able to show off the brass up there, which looks fantastic. And again, the balance of the truck is still really good. You can see it just like sort of sits on its sides, no problem. And yeah, again, I definitely recommend these. Get it off AliExpress, because even off Amazon, it took at least like 3 weeks to arrive. So, you know, might as well get it off AliExpress. Again, half the price, so not too bad. We're going to have to test these out soon. Unfortunately, I won't be able to test these out immediately, but there will be a running video up for it in the near future. So yeah. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.